Board of Zoning Appeals meeting for June 11, 2019 is called to order. Can I have roll call, Ms. Cavese?
Brown?
You're present.
Cook?
Present.
Johnson?
Present.
Jones?
Here, present.
Bonds? So we have 4 present, 1 absent. We have a quorum.
With the quorum, we'll proceed with our agenda for today. Next
minutes.
order of business is the reading of the minutes. Do we have any minutes, Ms. Cavese?
Next week, next time.
All right, next time. All right, we'll turn the minutes to next time. Second order of business is the public hearing, and we'll go right into the public hearing. BZA 1903, is that Terrell Lynn Stewart? Is petitioning for a special use permit to establish home daycare at 425 East 47th Place. Ms. Stewart, please come to the table and give us an overview of your petition. Yep, ready to have a seat. Yeah, how you doing? Oh, we gave you the booby trap chair.
It's part of the test.
See. Well, my name is Terrell Lynn Stewart, and I'm looking to open up a daycare at 425 East 47th Place, I'm sorry. And I'm looking to open up a child care facility because we have a lot of kids, of course. And I'm a firm believer that it does take a village to raise a child. So it'd be nice to open up a facility just to be a part of that and impacting the kids and getting them involved and explaining life and explaining the importance of school and just to be a part of the learning process.
Okay. Is this your first time opening up a daycare?
Yes.
Okay.
Is this the facility?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is this your home?
No, sir, that's not my home.
Do you own this property?
Sir?
Do you own this property?
No, sir, the owner, she's here.
She's got a letter from the owner that was in the PDF, so Tanya Davis.
Are there any daycares in this area? Any other daycares in the area?
That I'm aware of, no, sir.
And what about the preliminaries that need to be done, inspections and that type thing? Has any of that
We have-
taken place?
So we have, the fire department came by, I want to say, last week, Wednesday, and we passed the inspection.
And what about your licensures?
We're getting ready to get that taken care of, as far as the business license and everything.
From the state?
So this is her first step.
Yeah, this is the first step.
Okay.
Mhm.
How many people do you intend to service?
I would say, as far as children, between 14, 15, if maybe more.
And what will be the hours of operation?
Hours of operation is 24 hours.
I see that you have an infant's room, toddler's room, and a preschooler's room.
Yes, sir.
The structure doesn't look to be at all large. How many square feet is this, do you know?
About 1,200.
So when you say 24 hours, does that mean that you would service people overnight?
If need be, yes.
What type training have you had in order to do this?
Well, I did the training that's required, but as far as working in a facility, I've never worked in a facility, but just within my family with itself, I have a lot of nieces and nephews that stay with me a lot.
And would they be in this facility as well?
No, sir. No, sir.
And what about help?
Help. I have help. There's a few people that I have in mind. I have my auntie that I would love to help out, and then I have my younger sister would love to help out as well.
Would they be subjected to any type training?
They would train.
So you'll be having 2 employees? Or
So employees, and if more would like to come on board to help out, then
What about your training? What type of training have you had personally?
personally, other than the children that I have within my home church, and then, like I said, my niece and nephews,
Nice house.
I'm pretty much like their go-to. But they know they're pretty safe with me.
Ms. Calvitas, do you know if there are any daycares within this vicinity?
In the vicinity of 47th Place, not in the immediate vicinity, no. That's one thing we send out the letters to the neighbors. That's one thing that we always get back is people say there's already daycares in this neighborhood. And so, no, not in this immediate vicinity. 47th Place.
Do you recall how many would be added if these are approved today?
How many?
How many we would have in total?
Right now, we have. $172.
172.
172 in the whole city?
Yep. Those are home, daycares that are licensed with the state. So daycares that don't have to license with the state,
172 licensed.
it's 172 licensed daycares. And the daycares that have to come before this board, as we've talked about many times, are the daycares that are located in a residential zone.
Mr. Hunt, what was the age group of the children you'll be servicing?
I want to say 6 weeks to 12 years.
Infants, toddlers, preschoolers on here. This year's
So it'll just be that's something we'll have to discuss, but I was under the impression that would be from 6 weeks to 12 years.
6 to 12
The
years.
child, school, year babies, kids.
We have pictures of the outside. You all didn't think to take any of the inside. Is this house, is it,
Well,
does anyone live there now or what?
No, sir. What we were told is that to take the picture of the front of the house, they said to draw, pretty much draw the picture of the inside and take a picture of the street. That's what we were told from upstairs.
So, clarification on that, she's correct. City Council asked that we start providing pictures of the exterior of the house and the street because they want to see the environment that the kids are going to be in. We do send a fire inspector and a building inspector to these places, so that's why we don't require photos of the inside of the building because they have been inspected.
I noticed that you have a driveway. Do you have good space for dropping them off and picking them up?
Yes, sir, we do. Because you drive in and you can also pretty much drive around to the back also.
Oh, very good.
Yes, sir.
Is there a fencing all around the house to secure if children to get out?
That's what we have to get together as far as the fencing. Now, once I talked to the owner of the home, that's one thing that's up and coming. That's the next step pretty much.
Okay.
So this is not,
We were trying to.
It won't look like that.
Yeah, it won't look like that exactly.
that looks a little right.
Right.
It looked like somebody's doing some rehab. I saw the garage. It looked like the garages need to be fixed.
Yeah, things are pretty much coming together.
So how soon are you gonna start?
We were thinking of opening up in July, maybe early August, once everything
When
comes together.
everything is prepared
Yes,
and put
ma'am.
together?
Yes, ma'am.
What about your clientele? Do you have them lined up?
Yes, sir, I do. So far, my younger sister and her husband, they're making their decision if they're gonna have my niece and nephews, their younger children, if they're gonna have them attend the daycare. And then, yeah, pretty much that's what I have so far. So that's 4 youngins,
Food.
4 youngins and possibles, I should say.
All right, any further questions from commissioners before we take this to the public? All right, stay there, Ms. Stewart. We're gonna open this up to the public. Anyone here in favor, to speak in favor of BZA 1903? Anyone here to speak in favor of BZA 1903, come to the table, give us your name and address. Once again, anyone here to speak in favor of BZA 1903? Seeing none, hearing none, the same. Anyone here opposed to BZA 1903? Anyone here opposed to BZA 1903? Once again, anyone here opposed to BZA 1903? Seeing none, hearing none, we will now hear from staff on their findings and recommendations.
So for 425 East 47th Place, Ms. Stewart sent out via certified mail 40, 64, 67 notices. 40 were delivered and provided no response. 24 were undeliverable, 0 were opposed, and 3 were not opposed. So she had no opposition and 3 who were in favor.
Hearing that, what is staff recommendation?
My recommendation would be to approve. There aren't any daycares in this immediate vicinity. She has the neighbor support, so my recommendation would be to approve.
All right. Commissioners, you've heard staff's recommendation to approve BZA 1903. Can I get a motion to that effect?
Approved.
Moved and probably second that we approve BZA 1903. Is there any further discussion? If no discussion, roll call, Ms. Copese.
Brown?
Yes.
Cook?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
4-0.
4-0, BZA 1903 has been approved, and she has to go before the city council, I assume?
Yes, and we will contact you and let you know the dates for that. You will be on the city council meeting the 4th Tuesday in June, so that's the 25th.
Okay, do you know what to expect in the city, or what I should expect in the city council meeting?
We will call you and follow up and let
Okay.
you know everything you need to know.
Okay.
What dates you need to be there, when you need to be there, what you should bring.
Okay,
So,
so,
yep.
all right, thank you all. so
Thank you.
much.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, BZA 1908, Francine Brookshire Mack is petitioning for a special use permit to operate a home daycare at 3610 West 11th Avenue. Ms. Mack? Hey, you, Ms. Mack? Yeah, okay. Give us an overview of your proposal, petition, please.
Did you ask me a question?
Yes, ma'am. Give us an overview of your petition, your qualification background. Petition.
Did I do what?
Tell them about your petition. Tell them about your daycare.
Oh, I've been over 19 years. I'm just here for a zone. They said it had to be zoned.
Okay, so you've been in daycare how many years? 19 years?
I
Okay.
came to light last.
Okay.
No disrespect, y'all. Light
Okay.
last. I've been open for 19 years, and
Okay.
it was time for me to renew my license.
Okay.
And when I came down here, evidently the daycares from the head people in Indianapolis that I guess prove us to do it. They got some of the city license you have to get now, but in order for me to get it, I have to be zoned. And I didn't know that till I came here.
Okay.
Miss Frank came in for a general business license.
Okay.
And when she came in, she had not previously had a general business license because the state did not previously require general
They just
business
started.
licenses for daycares, which is why we've had this influx over the past year or so of daycares who are coming to get these licenses. When she came to get her general business license, she's in a residential zone, so she has to get a special use permit. That's where we are right now.
So for the past 19 years, was she operating legally or illegally or what?
Technically, she was operating legally, but she didn't know, so she's
Okay.
fixing it.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the state didn't require the license, so the state didn't tell her.
Okay.
That's something new they
Yeah.
just started.
The state didn't tell her, so we didn't have a record of her.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How many students do you have in your daycare?
15.
15. Age, what's the age range?
The youngest one is now a year and 8 months. And the oldest one is 12 and 4 months. No, 8 months.
Is that number pretty constant? You keep
Yes, sir.
Those kind of numbers?
Yes,
pretty
sir.
constant? And what's the name of your?
Frankie's daycare.
Okay.
Is the light too bright? Is that why you're hiding your
Yes,
face?
because I'll be
The lights are all
glad.
bright.
Thank you. Ooh, thank you, Jesus.
And now we're all cooled off, too.
Oh, Lord.
Thank you, Daryl.
Do you have staff, Mr. Mack, or just you?
Just me right now. I was finna close. But my daughter came back in town and asked me to stay open, so that's why, so the petition gets certified, I'm by myself, so that you have to have a certain quota at one time in order to have a worker, and I don't have them all there at one time.
Okay. All right.
So the kids are staggered. They come
Yes,
in
ma'am.
different times.
Any further questions from commissioners? No further questions?
Zoning.
Zone?
She's coming for a zoning change.
No,
No.
just a zone.
Nope, she's coming for her special use permit, so.
Special
like I
Oh,
was like,
okay.
when-
Sorry.
No, you're fine. That's why I said, like, when Ms. Johnson asked if she was operating legally, I said technically, but she had no idea, she didn't know, so she's getting it squared away now, and so that's what we're doing here.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. No, any other questions? If none, I'll open this up to the public. Anyone here to speak in favor of BZA 1908? Once again, any here to speak in favor of BZA 1908? Final time, anyone here to speak in favor of BZA 1908? Seeing none, hearing none, same. Anyone here opposed to BZA 1908? Anyone here opposed to BZA 1908? Seeing none, hearing none, we'll close public portion, and we'll go to Ms. Cobides for staff findings and recommendations.
3610 West 11th Street, Miss Frankie sent out, I think it was 70 mailers. Three were undeliverable. Sorry, my number's totally messed up. Well, she was given a list of 70 mailers. We have 26 in transit, which means they haven't gotten to their destination yet. We have 7 that were undeliverable. We have 3 that were delivered. We have 0 that are opposed. So nobody said they were opposed. One said they were not opposed.
You said one?
One said not opposed.
Oh,
And the rest were still in transit? Okay.
But you've been there 17 years.
19. It'll be 20 in March. And nobody ever
So-
said anything.
I can't provide a recommendation, but you guys can
Okay.
make your recommendation.
Well,
26 still in transit, I can't provide a recommendation, but you
Yeah.
guys can do whatever.
I think given the fact that she's been operating
19 years.
years, there's no reason for us at this point in
Yeah.
time to.
We haven't had any
entertain it.
bad reports about
So
anything.
therefore, I make a motion to approve.
And I'll second it.
moved and probably saying that we approve BZA 1908. Is there any further discussion? If no further discussion, roll call, Ms. Cobides.
Brown,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes,
Jones,
Yes.
4-0.
4-0, BZA 1908 has been approved, Ms. Mack. You get your license and continue to work. Does she have to go before city council?
You will, we'll be in contact. We'll let you know.
Okay. So you don't know when? Cause I gotta get back to my license lady, cause they trying to stop my check because of this.
First reading will be on the 25th. It'll be approved in the first meeting in July, which would be the 9th. Yes.
So that's when I come back to court?
Come back.
We don't like to think of ourselves as court. Yes. That's when you will have your final hearing for city council meeting, and they will, that's when you'll receive your permit.
I will get it.
Well,
On
I
the
mean,
9th.
there's no guarantees in this world, but yes.
But I found that out after this.
Yes.
So I'm saying I'm gonna get my permit on the 9th. So you're saying they're gonna give it to me that day?
You have to come in the next business day, so that would be.
That's close enough.
The 10th.
Okay, thanks everyone so much. Y'all made it easy for me.
Thank you.
Y'all, thank you, young man, for the light out my eyes. Y'all, good luck to all, good blessings to all of y'all.
BZA 1909, Robin Crisp is petitioning for a special use permit to establish daycare at 520 North Miami Street. Ms. Crisp, same thing. Give us an overview of your petition, qualifications, what's that?
My name is Robin Crisp, and I reside at 520 North Miami Street. I have years of experience with working with children. I've worked in School City as a special ed instructor, and this is something that I've always wanted to do. I have the room, the space, the time, the energy to help enhance the younger children going into the elementary schools, to prepare them, that they would be more aware of what to expect, rather than to just to walk in and They start losing self-esteem and things like that. And I learned that from working with special ed. When they act out, it's usually because they don't know. So if I can help them to get to that part, I'm trying.
Okay. So you'll be working by yourself?
No,
Okay, you have staff?
I do not have the staff because I do not have the students as of yet.
Okay,
I'm going through the state right now, becoming licensed, and this is one of the procedures that I needed to go through.
Okay.
And I'm trying to make sure that I cover all bases.
okay. What would be your age group that you're targeting?
Age group will be from 6 weeks to 12 years.
All right.
What about your hours?
Hours will be from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Any other commissioners have questions?
Are there any other daycares in the area, Ms. Chris?
There are other daycares, but not in the immediate area.
And you've not started to pull together a list of clientele, or?
Well, I have. I really didn't want to get started, and I can't bring the children here. I have 2 that I keep right now, and like today, I did not know if they would be able to come to a meeting on this. So I'm just working with the system.
All right. Any other questions from commissioners?
Have you talked to your neighbors about your plans?
No, I sent out the certified letters though to every last one on the list.
Okay. And so you don't know what their responses would be to that?
I've got you.
Yes.
Do you have that information?
So when we're ready.
Any further questions? I'll open this up to the public. No? Okay, well, we'll open this up to the public. Anyone here to speak in favor of BZA 1909? Anyone here to speak in favor of BZA 1909? Once again, is there anyone here to speak in favor of BZA 1909? Seeing none, hearing none, same. Anyone here opposed to 1909? Anyone here opposed to BZA 1909? Once again, anyone here opposed to BZA 1909? Seeing none, hearing none, we will go to our staff and get recommendations and findings. Ms. Cobides.
Okay. 74 notices were mailed out for 520 North Miami Street. 38 of those were delivered, 27 were undeliverable. So of the 38 that were delivered, 10 were opposed.
10 were opposed?
10 were opposed.
Out of 37,
38.
38.
10 were opposed. And I have some, most of the people were opposed because of lack of parking. They were not interested in increased traffic in the neighborhood. So I have the letters here. Most people called on the phone and said they didn't want to increase traffic in the neighborhood, and they felt that there was not adequate parking for a daycare. And then here, one says, I am opposed to the petition. Ms. Chris was not a good neighbor, and in the years that she has lived in this location, I have witnessed her exhibiting odd behaviors. I also oppose this petition. We live in a quiet neighborhood that does not have a lot of traffic with older neighbors. Then here, the one says, the brush has been in front of this property for months, probably over a year. There is a mirror thrown on top of the pile of brush, broken, has been there for weeks. If maybe it was placed on the proper can, it would be picked up. How will dirty diapers and other garbage be disposed of? As neighbors, we have picked up litter around the edge of this yard to keep our neighborhood litter free. Approximately 3 years ago, another neighbor and I picked up multiple bags of garbage on the first side of the yard. A backyard neighbor caught the resident throwing items over the fence. When questioned, she said, "Oh, that belongs to the government, it's not our yard." Another person said that there are issues with safety as there are no sidewalks. The road conditions on Miami are full of potholes and dangerous to walkers, traffic, and people getting out of their automobiles. This will cause excess traffic. The street was not designed for childcare. Too much traffic would make the street unsafe for children to play and unsafe for the surrounding neighbors. There are not enough parking spaces to care for multiple parents dropping off their children and turning around. It's also a concern for deliveries of supplies, assuming that she will have supplies delivered to her childcare business. Someone raised concerns about whether or not she's licensed and has a degree in early childhood education, but clearly she says that she does. Someone wants to know, will the business meet the health and safety standards? Will she have first aid training, CPR training, fire extinguishers, smoke detectors, criminal background checks, licensing/fire inspections, etc.? Yes. We do that, so I can into that at least. Someone is concerned about noise levels. They are concerned about the number of children and how much noise they will make. Someone is concerned about property values. Property values decrease when childcare is nearby and homeowners have to declare this information. Strangers will be introduced to this area, and this is more a concern for vandalism. As neighbors, we would like to keep our street attractive and have a safe environment. Another person, from my experience, this neighbor has been confrontational and unfriendly. That's it.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's fine. Let me ask you a question, Mr. Beast.
Reading the public record, yes.
Did the building inspectors go out there and inspect them?
Building inspectors and the fire inspection has been scheduled. Yes, I believe the code inspection has been out there, yes.
What was their finding?
I didn't get a report that it was, no negative report.
No negative report?
Yes.
Okay.
So that means
And she did pass a police background check. So. It is rare that we have this many oppositions to a petition like this, so.
That's Miller Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're
But I need to
still
ask-
residents, and so
Yeah.
we need to hear what they say as well.
Yes, but I need to ask a question.
Go ahead, Pat.
Are you licensed? That was one of the complaints.
Yes, sir. I am currently working with the state, being licensed. I am in the process right now of being licensed, and I do have a degree. And I'm not sure why some things were even said. And as far as the debris, I've made several requests with City of Gary. They're not even sticks. I don't know who's storing these things in my yard. But what I've done is put them on the curb. Anyone can drive by and they can see it. Broken glass, no. But these are things that the City of Gary that we pay come and pick these big sticks up and put them onto a truck. It has been over a year. I've started even, putting them in the opposite garbage can, which is illegal, but I guess they said, well, no one's picking it up. And it's been out there for a year, and I made several requests in person, over the phone. Could you guys come and please get this debris up? It is horrible. I totally agree, but I've done the best I could is getting it out of my yard. And as far as my neighbors are concerned, our houses are so far apart that they probably couldn't hear anything. But yes, there has been occasions when I've asked my neighbor about having her dog over. I don't have an animal, but I'm cleaning my yard and I'm stepping in dog manure. And I feel that, that was confrontational. It wasn't hollering and screaming. It was stated, I feel that this is very disrespectful.
I'm familiar with this area, Ms. Chris. And there is a hill that you go up prior to getting to this. This obviously does not represent the debris, the picture we see here, because there's nothing in
Well,
front of, or where would the debris be?
Okay, let me show you where all the debris is. it's right. I had to move it so the mailman would be able to deliver. Can I?
Sure.
Thank you. It's all of that right there.
It would be right there.
Yes, sir, it's there, it's there. And they're not sticks or branches, these are big limbs.
Did you say anything
They're
There's a
trimmed.
there's a photo.
The picture is not reflecting it as.
Yeah.
there? Yeah, I don't
As-
see
as
anything
now.
here.
My MapQuest isn't
Yeah,
showing
like I
that
said,
either.
this one.
That was a picture that I had taken
Right
maybe
there.
before, because it's been there for like a year. So maybe I had taken that one before. I was just told to take front, back, so I had that one. But I think I do have one I can pull up on my phone.
She just showed me.
Oh, she
Oh.
did?
So-
Yes.
So you said you have called and they just
Sep-
haven't come and picked it up?
Yes, ma'am.
They will
I'll
not
find
pick
it.
it up off the ground. She's got to put that in the trash.
Yard waste, yard waste
Oh, these
bags.
are not,
Huh?
You have to put it in yard waste bags.
those are not
Yeah,
gonna
that's
fit
gotta
in.
be picked
Cause
up.
that's what you call, yeah.
That's got to be picked
That,
up.
that
Yeah.
would be my concern a lot of time when it comes to the neighborhood. Sometimes you have to go further than the step of just call it. The responsibility to make the neighborhood nice, clean, safe, and attractive. Sometimes I go out, I pick up paper every morning. I don't know where it comes from, but I live on a main
I
street.
agree. And if you wanna operate, it's on you. It's sad to say, but it is. It's on you to remove it if you wanna operate. We have to remove stuff that other people don't. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Right.
ma'am, I
Yeah.
understand.
I keep hearing how many people oppose? 12?
10.
10?
Out of 38, that's 28, that does.
So 28 provided no response.
Do you have the proximity?
They were all within 400 feet because they all received the letter. They're, most wish to remain anonymous, but they provided their addresses and their names to the zoning department, so.
Some of them just questioned her licensing about how many of those?
One person questioned.
Just one
Just
person.
one person questioned
Just
the
one person.
licensing and the educational background, which,
That was the same
I
person?
clearly have.
yeah, that was only one person who was questioning
Okay,
that.
okay,
Most people were questioning,
The other part.
several people brought up the trash.
okay.
Someone sent a photo of it.
Right.
And several people mentioned the lack of parking, and 2 people mentioned
A personality.
a personality
conflict, yeah.
conflict.
Okay,
That's a busy little area.
yeah.
Yes, it is.
Right there where you are. And I'm not sure to what degree you have a backyard.
Yes, sir. I don't know if I have one on my, I'm sure I have a picture of the backyard on my phone. It is fenced in and it is very huge, very huge. So there's no way that the kids could venture off down a hill, up a hill, or anything like that. But as far as the debris go, I'm gonna have to pay someone to get it up. But they were getting it up, but they stopped last year. And it doesn't matter how many times I request, they don't
Well,
pick it up.
generally speaking, from my own personal experience, as she's pointed out, you either put it in one of those lawn bags or you put it in that blue can. That blue
A little bit each
receptacle.
week. you
That's
know.
what I
Yeah.
did. I
Yeah.
started putting it in the
And
blue
get rid of
can
it,
because
yeah.
it's steadily, it's really multiplying. It's multiplying.
Where's it coming from?
I have no idea. These are not even like sticks that fall off the tree. These are like, let's look at the picture. Say, just blew them up and maybe you can, I don't know. But this is what I do every week when I keep the yards,
So
groomed.
you're the one putting them there.
No. I'm not putting them there. I'm cleaning them out of the
And
yard.
this is in front of your house.
Right. Believing up under the impression that the city of Gary would pick them up.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is where you say you don't know where they're coming from.
No.
You're taking them out of your yard and putting them on the pile.
Right. But as far as parking space, there's plenty of parking. I believe one of the pictures on the side will show you, it is a 6-car garage and there is space on the side. And once, I guess I pay someone to get up all these sticks or whatever they are, yes, sir.
I don't
And
see a
in
six-car
that,
garage.
pardon me?
I don't see a six-car garage. How it is?
No, not a garage, parking space, because you can get 6 cars in that driveway. And where, right where you see the mailbox, that's another 4 car parking. So that's a total of 10, and they're only picking up and dropping off.
That's what I was considering. If they'll just drop them off, I don't see the necessity for parking unless they were gonna be there.
For some time.
Yeah, but that corner is, like I said, it's right at a fork.
Yes.
You go to
from
Miami,
it.
then you go up the hill, and this is right here.
And may I mention something else? If it's such a quiet neighborhood and the children, we have actual neighbors putting out signs saying, please slow down, please slow down. I don't think they just put that there for any reason. It's a pretty busy street. And believe me, I've come home from work a million times and my whole driveway was parked with my neighbors' parties. I'm talking about children. They're talking about parties.
That sound like neighbor personal conflict. If it were me, I would try to communicate with them and we would try to work it out rather than let it turn into some kind of war zone between neighbors.
Well, no, it's
But
not
that's
going
something
to
you guys
war
have to
zone
work
with
out.
me. I'm not that, no.
Okay. Did I ask for recommendation or something?
You did not.
Okay.
I am of 2 minds on this. I see that she has a space that is, technically suitable for a daycare center. However, we have received quite an outpouring of opposition, which we don't normally receive. I mean, how many of these have we heard? And so that does raise a flag for me. It would be different if every petition that we heard had a similar level of opposition, but that's just not the case. So, based on the fact that these special use permits are, the point of a special use permit for a daycare in a residential neighborhood is because daycares are meant to be, it's supposed to be case by case basis, right? Because a daycare is a business, and it's, businesses don't necessarily belong in residential zones unless they're compatible. I don't know if this particular one is compatible simply because there has been concern from the neighbors. So I'm not giving you a recommendation. I would lean towards not approving it. Simply based on the fact that the neighbors are
Opposition.
not in support, and if the neighbors are not in support, it's going to be
Escalated.
it's going to be escalated. It's going to be troublesome down the line, and I
Okay.
wish it were not the case.
I got you.
Yes.
Is it possible that we could sort of table it till she give us a certain amount of time to get that?
You could certainly
The
defer it.
main issue is the trash, and I would be concerned about the neighborhood. I have a house in Miller too, and I'm concerned about how it look around. But I also heard an issue about throwing something over the back fence. Did I?
No, actually, I was cleaning out the backyard, and I can take a picture of it because it's still on my property. It's a big black brick, and I had no idea where it came from, so I was getting it off the best way I could, and one of the young ladies and brought it to my attention. Another neighbor, but she's like down the hill, but she comes up the hill and she plants all these flowers and trees against my fence. And so she says, well, what are you doing? And I said, well, no, I thought down there in the ravine was the sea. She says, no. And I stopped and I apologized. But I still ask her every summer, please don't keep planning you breaking down my fence.
But you still threw a brick into a ravine.
No, 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 no. Sorry. No, 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 it's not, no, no.
Sorry.
It's still on my property.
Okay.
It's too heavy to actually pick up. So what I was doing was pushing it.
Okay.
But see, she looks down the hill, but you can look up the hill and you can see.
Coming out to
How long have you lived in
the
this area?
main street. It's a house.
Huh.
All kinds of
I've been there
limits.
since
I know my
1985.
hand where she is, and that. That line, that's dangerous.
It's odd to me to have lived there that long and to not have, and the type of relationship that you have.
Well,
That's kind of odd to me.
With the
Been there that
pets,
long.
with the pets, this young lady just moved in, maybe a year or maybe 2 years ago. And I don't even think, she doesn't own it, she rents it. And the other young lady, I don't have a problem with partying, but I just don't want to come home and all these cars, like they were saying. That's what I brought to her attention. All these lines of cars are at my house. And I don't know these people. So that rose a question for me. And it's like every year, but it's okay as long as when I come in, they're not on my property. Like they're actually visiting me.
So I'm gonna throw this question in. You've lived there since 1985.
Yes.
Right? Is there anyone in your neighborhood that you have a favorable relationship with that
Yes.
would speak on your behalf or would come and?
Well, yes. I don't know if I still have her number, but she stays. It's like weird. She stays up the hill, and we do a lot of talking because we're out a lot taking care of our yards. And I don't know anything about her personal life, and she doesn't know anything about mine, but she seems pretty friendly.
Ms. Chris, knowing where this is, I have reservations about this. And given the fact that the whole thing is compounded by the fact that 10 people came out against this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing how your house is situated and that hill is, I just can't support this.
Okay.
I'm being honest, about this. And if I were to recommend, I would say I would make the motion not to approve it, to follow her recommendation. We trust in Ms. Covitas's
That's my issue.
recommendations because they have thoroughly researched these things and know to what degree they would succeed or not succeed or would be something that would in fact not pose a danger to folks. And what I know about this particular corner is just a little busier than what I would want my child to be there. So if you're asking for a recommendation, if you've asked for a recommendation, then mine would be not to approve based on staff's recommendation.
All right, Ms. Cookie's recommendation is non-approval, BZA 1909. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded that we do not approve BZA 1909. Is there any further discussion? If no discussion, roll call, Ms. Covitas.
Brown?
Yes for non-approval.
Cook?
Yes for non-approval.
Johnson?
Yes for non-approval.
Jones?
Abstain.
Okay, so that was 3 for non-approval, 1 abstention. You'll still go before city council, your petition will still go before city council. So they make the final decision. So this board provides a recommendation, their recommendation is to not approve. However, you take your case to city council and they will make the ultimate decision. So I'll notify you of those dates, okay?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chris, for your time.
Ms. Chris, it's nothing personal, it's just that I know that area very well.
BZA 1910, Bill Janowski.
Januska?
I'm sorry, Bill Januska. Petition for developmental standards variance to allow a front setback of 15 feet for a new construction home at 7739 through 47 Maple Avenue.
Correct.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Well, how about I'll introduce myself. I'm attorney Lucas Cohen. I work work with Tony Walker of the Walker Law Group,
Okay.
located on Lake Street, Miller. And with me today is Billy Januska, and we are seeking a variance of a front setback for a home Mr. Januska wants to build on a secluded dead-end street nestled in Miller. Mr. Januska currently lives in Crown Point with his wife, but they have found this perfect little lot in Miller, and they want to build their dream house there and start a family and become lifelong residents of the city of Gearing.
And taxpayers.
Yes, yes. And then, yes, I'll speak again. I'm Billy Januska. The main reason why we're applying for this variance is mainly, as you can see, my garage kind of sits in front of my house. So I was trying to make the houses align as in the front doors. So the house doesn't sit too far back. The other thing was privacy. My next door neighbor has a Four Seasons room. So I wanted to move up a little bit farther so we both have our own privacy. If I sit back too far, I could be sitting in my living room and it's eventually going to be all glass. And we can literally, I can look in their Four Seasons room and she could look right at me.
Oh, okay.
So I thought,
Privacy,
yeah, so moving it up, 10 more feet would give that a little bit more privacy. And then also, a cost issue, moving it back, I got 10 more feet. I think my driveway is going to be roughly 20 feet wide. So foundation plus the driveway, that costs a lot more, plus more siding because my foundation kind of has a decline on it.
Okay. Quite a steep decline.
Yeah,
going in
so
the
it
backyard,
just
so
would be
moving
more
forward
foundation,
helps.
more expensive. So try to cut costs there, and then ultimately too. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought that was my fault. Ultimately, I'd rather have more backyard than more front.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
When do you plan to start breaking ground?
As soon as this gets hopefully approved, and after this process, yeah. So hopefully sometime in July.
How big is your lot? From?
There should be a survey in there.
Yeah.
I'm asking.
If he knows
It is 47 feet wide by 120 deep, if I'm not mistaken.
I need my reading lesson.
And the reason I ask is because I thought there was a 50-foot requirement at some point.
Let's see, so he's in an R2 zone. Okay.
Site.
I'm seeing 25 plus 33 feet. For the frontage.
Two lots.
Yeah,
So that's, so 25 plus 33 is over 50.
Okay.
All right.
So, before we begin, it's a good point. So your contractor came through site plan review, which is how we flagged this issue, and why they're here today. Have your plans for your home changed since that site plan review meeting?
plans of the home, no,
Okay.
they have not changed.
Okay, so, in terms of the setbacks, lot coverage, that I've reviewed all of that when he submitted his building plans, which is how we found this issue to begin. So, just for the record,
So he's okay?
he's okay.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Any further questions? No, we'll open this up to the public then. Anyone here to speak in favor of BZA 1910? Anyone here to speak in favor of BZA 1910? Once again, anyone here to speak in favor of BZA 1910? Seeing none, hearing none, same. Anyone here opposed to BZA 1910? Anyone here opposed to BZA 1910? Once again, anyone here opposed to BZA 1910? Seeing none, hearing none, we'll now hear from Ms. Scobides on staff findings and recommendations.
Let me just ask a very quick question.
Yep.
You have two addresses here, 7739 and 7747.
Yes, it's actually two very narrow lots that I
Which one
bought.
are you going to use?
It's gonna be right in the middle, so I already had to apply for a, I don't know, address change or whatever, to combine them both.
All right.
So I already submitted that to the, city of Lake County.
I've never seen something like this, so wondering how that's resolved.
Yeah, it's just, I had to fill out another form just recently and send that in to get a new address.
So ultimately, yeah, the addresses are assigned by the county and they're approved by the city, so, that came up in site plan review as well, that he would have to apply for a new address. He'd already had the lots combined, but they just had left the hyphenated address, so he's resolving that.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
I want to be comical. You say you don't mind looking in your neighbor's sunroom, you just don't want your neighbor looking at you while you're looking.
No, vice versa. Vice versa.
We certainly understand.
I like that in Miller, a lot of the houses are offset, so you can both have your privacy.
Absolutely.
Okay, so. Of the certified mailers that were sent out for 7739-47, 44 did not respond. 24 were undeliverable. 2 replied and were not opposed. 2 replied and were opposed. 7 replied and were not opposed. So I have the oppositions here. One of them does not seem relevant to this situation, so I will read it first. I'm concerned about parking on the skinny street. It's a dead end, so cars turning around can be hectic. They already backed into 4 mailboxes while clearing the lot. I hope that's not the case, but even if it is, I don't think that's relevant to the setback issue because he can build on the lot. He has that right, so, but that's for the record. And then we have one that's a little more lengthy. When you start making exceptions to zoning rules / regulations, it opens the door for others to get the same zoning rules. Rules are made for a reason and should be adhered to. If building a house, that person should have the responsibility to take this into consideration instead of expecting neighbors to overlook their lack of responsibility in adhering to building restrictions of the area. Not only would a home that close to the road be unappealing by being visually overpowering, but also it would be only a matter of time that the type of neighbor that type of neighbor would be violating or attempting to ignore other community requirements / restrictions. We don't need neighbors like that. Would you want a neighbor like that? Oh, and actually I received one more letter right before I came down here, so I printed it out. Dear Department of Planning and Zoning, we received a notification in the mail. We are unable to attend. We are opposed to the petition as described to us in the letter, which requests a variance to allow a front setback of 15 feet for new construction. The primary reason for our opposition is that having a variance for 15 feet setback will occlude the visibility of our home from the street and be offset from the other houses on the street. Thus, having this variance will create an unwanted alteration in the pattern of houses that are currently on the block. In summary, we are opposed to the petition and believe that the new construction should be in line with existing zoning ordinances that were followed by the other houses on the street. So this is from the person at 7801 Maple Avenue. So that would bring the total opposition up to 3 from 2.
Now, what they said, they wouldn't be able to see the street, is that what you're saying? What
So
they said?
they're saying that their house would not be visible from the street. Basically, they're implying that they have a 25-foot setback as per the code. I did not verify their setback, but that's the implication. And then, so if Mr. Januska's house is 10 feet closer to the road than theirs, when people are coming down the street, they're only gonna see Mr. Januska's house, they're not gonna see theirs. So that is their concern. And to be fair, that is the purpose of a front setback requirement, that all of the fronts of the houses are in line and the street has a similar look. So, I don't know if you wanna address that first.
Yeah, I actually went out there just a little bit ago and took pictures, and you could pass this around, but
And we have,
yeah,
Photos
from, so this is where the house is supposed to be, and that's what I'm asking for. Again, this isn't from the street, this is from the sidewalk. So, my setback is way back here where the line is. While you're driving on the street, it's not gonna be blocking that house whatsoever. I don't know.
Okay, you said the red circles is the sidewalk, that's what you're saying?
No, that's, so the red circle to the right
Uh-huh.
is where I'm supposed to be. If
Okay.
I apply for this variance,
Uh-huh.
and then moving it up is where I would like
Like
it.
to be, okay.
Yeah, and then if you just swipe over to the right. I
Okay.
think
Oh, I see what you're saying, okay.
It's not from the street, it's
Street.
from the sidewalk.
Sidewalk.
So there's, I drove over there yesterday because I was kind of afraid that maybe this might come up, but it's
Okay, I see
gonna
what
be
you're saying.
visible. Again, it's a garage,
Garage
which is not gonna be very
Okay,
high end, 10 feet, I think my garage is gonna be.
okay,
It's not gonna be,
It's
full
a-
frontage of
It's
a
a flat
house.
roof
okay.
Yeah, it's.
garage.
These circles you're talking about, what do they represent again?
No, so the one that, if I didn't apply for the variance, that's where the house would be. I'm just looking to move it up to the other stick. The other,
So this is where you want to go?
Yep.
This is where it would be?
yeah, and then if you swipe over to the left, I believe, yeah, so that's how far setback it's gonna be, It's not from the street, it's actually from the sidewalk.
Okay. I can
So-
see that, okay.
Yeah, I took that in consideration, I was
So
not.
you're not moving closer to the street? You're
No,
moving
I'm
back.
actually, no, I'm gonna be moving, 10 feet closer
That's wrong.
to the street.
Okay.
Give it back.
Give it back to him.
Sorry, I flipped you.
No, you're fine.
What's his staff's recommendation?
This is
Actually,
where
there's a
it's supposed to be.
benefit to both neighbors on the side. It's because there's a ravine behind the houses,
But I really.
which is kind of what you like, when you're looking out on your porches, that's the prettier part, right, of the area, looking into this wooded ravine. And actually, his house being back further would cut off views of the ravine.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Versus, and we are just talking, it is just 10 feet. At one time, he wanted to come up even further, but he didn't want to press his luck on this, and hoped there could be a nice compromise, and
Yes,
just requesting a 10-foot variance.
Exactly.
I did the public hearing already, did it? So staff recommendation and findings?
My recommendation would be to approve. I understand where the neighbors are coming from. However, the homes on the street are older and most of them are legally non-conforming to this developmental standard anyway. Not to the point of having only a 15-foot setback. Most of them have between a 17 and 22-foot setback as opposed to the required 25. So although 15 feet is smaller than that, my recommendation would be to approve, especially it is, at this point, a dead-end street. That could change. It does not continue all the way through, but it picks up at the next block. But as of right now, it's dead-end, so it's not like,
Not doing much obstruction. is it?
Exactly. And I was on this list as a neighbor. I did not make you send me a certified mailer, but I am not opposed.
Oh, okay. All right. Here is staff recommendation. Can I get our recommendation for?
So moved, and welcome to the next.
Second.
All right, it's been moved probably second that we approve BZA 1910. Is there any further discussion? If none, roll call, Ms. Coombs.
Brown,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
4-0.
4-0, BZA 1910 has been passed. He has to go before city council for final approval or no?
We haven't done a developmental standard variance in a while. I think you have to go through city council, but I will confirm. I will just double check.
All right. Hammond?
But I will send you all the dates and everything that you need. Okay?
And good luck and hope
Thank you so much, I appreciate it, really do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the board.
Take care now. Have a nice.
Thank you.
Final item on the agenda, BZA 1911, Diane Cardwell is petitioning for a special use permit to establish a home daycare at 1987 Arthur Street.
Yes.
Hello, welcome.
Hi, everybody.
Give us your overview.
Thank you for waiting.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
I'm Diane Carwell. I decided to open up a daycare. I have a daughter that has 4 kids, and she lost her job because she didn't have childcare and she worked nights. So
I was moving to Mississippi and I decided to stay because I kept coming home to babysit for her. So then I said I just open up a child care that can help mothers that want to go to work and not able to find child care, proper child care for their children. And that's why I decided, and I love the kids anyway, so I'm always babysitting for free, so I said I can do a daycare.
Okay. So will you be entertaining any other clients other than your own grandkids?
No, I will.
You will?
Yes,
Okay.
sir, I
Oh,
will.
okay.
Yes, sir. The state requires you at least 15 kids.
Okay.
So, I know there's other daycares around, but everybody can only get so many kids anyway.
Mhm.
And mine will be 24 hours.
Okay.
And I will have 6 weeks to 12-year-old.
6
And-
weeks to 12-year-olds? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I don't know, what else y'all want to know?
Okay, do you have any background in daycare other than just your personal?
Well, no, I took care of mentally disabled
Or
children.
did you? Okay.
Yeah, and I did go in home for, I have a CNA license as well, so I have went in home for pediatrician kids.
Oh, okay.
So I went in and took care of kids in their house too.
Oh. Will you have any staff or just yourself
Well, I probably will
when you get
when
climbed
we
up?
get more kids
Okay.
because we took sleep classes. The state requires you to take sleep classes for babies. So that means that if you have little babies and you have older kids move pretty quick. So you got to have more than my 2 eyes.
Okay.
Even though I have cameras up,
Mhm.
I have to still be able to have my eyes on their chest.
Any other questions from Commissioners present? Mr. Cook went out and stepped down. None? Okay.
Do you have any questions, Mr. Cook?
Yeah.
I got you.
Came right back in right on time.
Are there any other daycares in the neighborhood?
I'm sure they are. I'm sure there are. This is
Okay,
Gary,
yes.
there's a lot of upcoming daycares,
Yeah.
and you can only take care of so many kids. So, the state hasn't came out yet, but the building code did, and somebody stole the garbage can, so I had to get another garbage can. And what else did I need to do? Oh, I needed to put the fire alarms and stuff up, even though the fire department came now, so they were up when he got there. But I needed to put all that up. I had everything, but it wasn't put up. And so he came back right after, the next day after the fire department and everything was done.
Is this your residence or you bought it?
No, sir, it's not.
Okay.
Are you familiar with any in the area? Let's go
There is a daycare directly across the street at 1988 Arthur.
Oh, is it open yet?
It is licensed
Oh, they haven't.
by the state. These are the ones that have been licensed by the state. There is a daycare at 1710 Arthur, and there's a daycare at 2181 Arthur.
Wow.
None on the surrounding streets, but for some reason, Daycare Alley over here.
Yeah,
We
it's
got quite a
popular
few.
daycare.
So,
Is this a wide street, Arthur Street wide in that area? Is that wide?
It's,
No?
it's a wide street.
Is it
It's
wide?
a full-size street.
Full-size street?
I'm familiar with the area.
Okay.
Standard street.
Standard
It's 20
street.
25 feet wide.
Okay. All right. Any further questions from committee?
You have set your clientele or no?
Not yet. I have people that have been calling, but I want to get licensed and get everything in order before I take people in because they say you can take up to 6 kids without being licensed. But I didn't want to do anything until I got everything did. The house is set up inside for the daycare. No one lives there, it's just the daycare. And
Given the fact that you got somebody who's on deck, so to speak, across the street, who's already licensed,
yes, sir.
how is that gonna affect the traffic? Yours and then theirs? If
I
you
don't
have
think
the
it would. I have a
similar hours and this
driveway.
kind of thing?
I have a driveway
What
and
about parking?
parking, they probably won't be staying there. Like, they probably would just be dropping their kids off and leaving. Because we have the side street, the front, and then I have a driveway.
Is it a two-way street or one?
It is, yes, sir, it's a 2-way.
I used to live in that area.
It's a nice area.
I'm just concerned about the proximity, you know, of yours and this other one that is already established there. She's talking about the other ones in the neighborhood. And
I look at it like churches, liquor stores, beauty shops.
no, you can't. When
I
you
mean,
have
I know
kids
what you're
involved,
saying, but I look at it
Well, I
like,
disagree, so I'll just leave it at that.
yes, sir, I understand what you're saying, but we can only have so many kids in one house anyway.
Any further questions from commissioners? If none, I'll open this up to the public. Anyone here to speak in favor of BZA 1911? Anyone here to speak in favor of BZA 1911, once again? Oh, come, stand up and give us your name and address for the record.
My name is Gloria Green, I live 1978 Arthur Street,
Okay.
and I do love children. I've
Hi.
known children for 30 years.
Yes,
So I love children, but our neighborhood is a very quiet neighborhood, and as it was already mentioned, we have one exactly across the street, 1988. She's opened in 1987. We have one on 17.
Is she speaking for?
The street is not that large.
So this is the portion where people are speaking in
Well,
favor.
yeah, you opposed,
Oh,
yeah?
that's okay.
Yeah,
That's
I'm opposed.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
We'll get there, we'll get to
Yeah,
you.
we get to
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
All right.
I thought I heard.
Last call, anyone here to speak in favor of BZA 1911? Seeing and hearing none. Now, anyone here opposed to BZA 1911? There you go, there you go. Okay, yeah.
And as I was stating, the street, if you park on the street, oncoming traffic has to find some place to scoot over so the traffic can go through. It's not that wide. And yes, there is a driveway there at the daycare, but for the noise aspect of it, we have a lot of senior citizens there that's 60, 80 years old. You know, the trash, all the traffic. We don't really want that in our neighborhood. And then to deal with one in that block, there's too much traffic. The other daycare, they had been robbed on a Sunday morning. And since that time, you know, you never know about the clientele you're gonna get in. You know, she had mentioned about her relatives, but we don't want that, that traffic. Like I said, the parking would not be feasible for the daycare. We have special needs adults there. You know, should be concerned about their safety. We got stroke victims there, a lot of single women that live alone in that block. Again, their safety. And I had written out a letter, I don't know if you want me to go over that or not, but again, my concerns is about the safety of the 1900 block of Arthur Street, 80-year-old women living alone there, disabled individuals, special needs adults, and those who have had strokes. And in the neighborhood, we are the children of the original owners. So we have kept our community up down through the years. It's been quiet, everybody know everybody. We look out for one another the best that we can, but there has been problems in the neighborhood, stealing, and we don't want any more. Where I live at, someone tried to break into my home, and on the avenue as well. And we don't want additional public places on our block. There's been a residential facility for 50 years up until 1988 address that she just opened up. And I just, like, again, I don't want the daycare there, and my neighbors on that block, they were opposed as well. Now, before, when 1988 decided to open, they were sending letters out all around the neighborhood and not on our block.
Okay.
People on 21st Avenue were receiving letters. And then unfortunately, the daycare owner came back to harass us about opening up the daycare. It was gonna open up anyway, whether we opposed to it or not. And we don't want that type of residents in our neighborhood. Talk about the parking. Where they gonna park at? 2 daycares in 1 block. I can't get out, I can't get in. And they're gonna tell me as 1 second. Okay, I live here.
Okay.
I can't get in my own yard, my
All
own
right,
driveway. 1 second turns into, where's his jacket, where's his coat?
Okay.
I gotta get his lunch.
Is that-
He's-
3 minutes is up.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay. Thank you, appreciate it, man.
There's another.
Opposed?
Yes.
Give me your name and address for the record, man.
Okay, I'm Deborah Cotton. I live at 1985 Garfield. I live on the next street.
Okay.
So, I don't live on Arthur, but we go around and walk on Arthur and stuff. But I'm like her, I just don't want another daycare. We've got, and there's a lot of things that's been happening in the neighborhood, and like she said, we do try to keep it quiet. We try to keep it clean and everything that's going on. And I in turn talked to the police the other day about more policemen coming up through there, especially at night and in the evening. So I'm a person that have been jumped on before just to take my own truck in my own yard. They knocked out the light, and I didn't know that the light, they had knocked it out. I said, oh, I better call to get a light. And as I turned, I won't go through the whole thing, but as I turned, the guy hit me over the head. So only the good Lord made it where he didn't crack my skull. But anyway, I just wanted to be where we don't have no more traffic and in and out and all of that. So I'm here to oppose to it. I didn't get my letter on time because for some reason they came, you have to sign. We wasn't there, and for some reason I didn't get the letter to the other day. So my letter wouldn't be in there where it says opposed. I brought my letter with me.
All right, that's, none, public portion is closed. Mr. Cobies, we'll hear from staff findings and recommendations.
So 33 letters were delivered, 33 were undeliverable, 2 were opposed, including this woman here, and then 4 responded and were not opposed. Of the 1 we received back that was opposed, it was 1978 Arthur Street, which we've heard from. So that's it from the public portion. In terms
Wait a minute, let me go back. Ms.
Okay.
Cobies, you said 33 were sent out? Or-
33 were delivered,
Okay. No response from them?
no response.
Wow.
33 were undeliverable.
Okay.
I mean, excuse me, 30 were undeliverable.
Okay.
It's been a long meeting. And 1, now 2, responded and were opposed. 4 responded and were not opposed.
No.
Did you get any phone calls?
Of the 4 that were not opposed, 2 of them were phone calls. In terms of my recommendation, these have all been tough calls today. I also think it's a bit unnecessary to have 4 daycares in a 4-block radius. So I'm sympathetic to the neighbors sorry, that was for the last speaker. I'm sympathetic to the neighbors who don't want the neighborhood taken over by business. And that's the intention of these permits, is to regulate the land use in the neighborhood. However, that's
I understand.
Your recommendation.
Yeah, I would also agree that there's 3
Enough.
daycares that.
I would at least perhaps consider deferring the matter until she had customers, until she had people lined up to what's the word I'm looking for? to use her services. However, my recommendation would either be to defer until a need can be presented, until a need can be provided, or to not approve.
You said that you spoke with two that approved. Right. Is that what you said?
Two that were not opposed.
That were not opposed. Why were they opposed? What did they say?
They said that they just did not have a problem with it.
They just didn't have, they didn't cite any specifics.
Yeah, no one most people call in and they say, I got a letter, I want to know more about it. I explain, this woman is, and they say, okay, I don't care, or okay, I care very much. So there was nobody who called and was like, yes, we absolutely
need one.
Yes.
Yeah, we're happy, okay.
They just said, we are not,
We're not concerned, in other words.
If someone calls and says that they are explicitly in favor of a project, I'll try to mention.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So what's your recommendation?
My recommendation would be to defer until a need can be shown, until she can show that there is a need for another daycare in this neighborhood, or to not approve.
She would
Simply,
still have to go to the council, right?
yes. If you were to defer, it would defer
Back to us,
sending it to council.
to the council.
So I would recommend either of those.
I would move for deferral.
Is there a second?
I can't support a second.
What was your?
I say I would
President
move for
Jones, motion was deferral.
I moved to, disapprove. I don't,
I second that.
it's still gonna be the same amount of daycare.
Right.
I would
So
second
I-
her motion.
First motion would die without a second. Second motion will be heard because it has second, so the motion on the floor is to deny, not approve BZA 1911. Is there any further discussion? If no further discussion, roll call, Madam Reader.
Brown?
Yes, for no.
Cook?
Yes, for not to approve.
Johnson?
Yes, not to approve.
Jones?
Abstain.
So that was 3 approvals, 1 abstention. You will still go to city council and they will have they will make the final approval. So, as I mentioned to Ms. Chris, this board provides a recommendation to city council, but they have the final say over what happens. So my office will contact you and let you know all those dates.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You said 3 approvals, 3 disapproved.
3 approve the motion.
3 approve the motion.
Okay, I got you, okay.
I apologize.
A little bit
All right, y'all have
confusing,
a nice
okay.
day. Thank you.
Yeah,
All right.
Is there any other business? Ms. Corbides, before the board, did not entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Yeah, so moved.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.